Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Minutes. Myself, Michael Bergio, Mark Novak, episode 261. Perception is the art of war. Marky Mark, art of war, Perception. This minutes will apply to everyone. If you're a business owner, a young agent out there in the food business, hospitality business, perception just applies for everyone. We judge everything and everyone. You know how they say don't judge a book by its cover? We judge a book by its cover.
People don't like to admit it, eh?
It's true. It is true. Now, how does that apply? Let's talk about real estate first or just in general first. What do you want to do, Mark? Let it rip.
It's really important because I think sometimes it can be a little bit fickle, but people can say, oh, who cares, how the agent's presenting, who cares how the shop front's presenting, who cares how the restaurant's presenting, but on balance, and restaurants are a really good example that they are always reinvesting in themselves. They're always doing these huge fit outs every 5 or 10 years to stay fresh, even when the old fit out was good. McDonald's is a good example of that. The McDonald's brand, it never ages because they're consistently reinvesting into their perception.
Very good point. Even how food is presented, there's always that meticulous in having it presented the best because, believe it or not, how that burger looks, how that meal looks, you will interpret how that will taste before initially. We look at menus. That's why menus are very visual. Perception, the initial thinking of it.
There's obviously there's people that go against the grain, but they are 1%ers. There's the institutional style businesses where you've been eating there for 30, 40 years, you still love it, it still pumps, that are across Sydney. But on balance, the most businesses, they just really need to reinvest. It even comes down to relationships. It even comes down to clothes. It even comes down to cars. You just need to just keep reinvesting in yourself in order to stay on top, on point and on game.
And I think they're the exception, not the rule. That, you know what I mean? Like that place that hasn't reinvested, but it's just got that look and feel. A lot of places can't pull it off. So you'd rather be reinvesting into it. Just like real estate agents with what they wear. I know there's always that debate, smart casual, suits. There's that perception of professionalism as well.
Ties,
suits, shoes.
You know what I mean?
Even when it comes down to how do you present a home, isn't that right, Mark?
Yeah, look, it's massive, guys. You've got to make that investment, and unfortunately, there's a figure on it, and you've got to put a number down for it, and you've got to amass that number for reinvestment every single year. So whether that's, I don't know, whether it's 5% of your earnings or 10% of your earnings or whatever that is, that's got to be apportioned. You just can't put everything straight into your pocket. Money's got to go back into yourself, your business, your life, your health, your wealth, whatever that is, to keep that wheel ticking. And hotels are a good example of that. Hotels will mandatory take a portion of their profits and say, okay, well, if we made 20% profit this year, no, we didn't. We made 15% because we're putting 5% away every year for a major investment back into the facility after 10 or 15 years. Next thing you know, they do a big refurb out of nowhere. They spend the money, and people go, oh, look, that looks great. But it's genuinely good. It's good, sound business to be doing that. And people don't do it on themselves. People don't make that investment on themselves to say, I need to spend 5% a year on, suits,
self-improvement, education.
Sound mind, holidays. I won't say holidays. I'll say mental break. Stuff like that.
I think you smashed it there but you've got to know you have to do it, budget it each year. Because when you look at a renovation, even on any shop, it's generally going to cost 20 to 40,000. And that you just can't pull out of thin air. Sometimes that's the whole year's profit. So you've really got to be thinking in a 5 to 7 year plan, by memory, Domino's was 7 years. Every 7 years, it was the new fit out. So you're factoring it in. As soon as you've done your fit out, you're putting 5% away for the next fit out. Otherwise, you get in that rat race of never doing it and not having that refresh vibe. Same with, and also you could do bit by bit each year as well. But there is always that impact of new branding under the existing brand. We did it as a company, McDonald's do it, agencies do it. There's always that refresh brand, because mate, you almost get like an injection of new customers, don't you? When you see a new shop refitted out, you're like, even if it's run by the same people.
And your staff want it, and your customers want it, and you want it really. Everyone wants it. And where this stemmed from this morning was, you were saying home builders, people, these display homes that you're seeing out there.
Yeah, so where this came from, you would think your core business, when you do it for yourself, well, how you do it for yourself is probably less, you're going to do it for clients less. So there was a certain home builder, they're building their display home, and I've gone past it a couple of times, and I was just thinking to myself, I'm trying to be careful because people can...
They broke your heart.
They broke my heart because I had big promise of it. I knew they were building. I've had conversations of potential clients using that company in the past, and I know in the back of my mind of a time frame that they had said they would build for the clients. Then here they are doing their display, and I was like, perfect. This will be a great reference of when I'm talking to clients to use them. I can sort of say, well, they built their display in X amount of time. And to put it simply, it hasn't been impressive, and I won't be referring them. So, but that's a message to everyone. You're always on display. I'm not even looking to do a home building, and I'm sure there are many clients out there, or future clients who don't even know are clients, are thinking, let's maybe do a knockdown rebuild. And you're driving past someone, you're going to remember. And I think that's key. Someone's always watching, as creepy as it sounds.
Yeah, look, I remember, this is going to sound vile, but an old boss of mine used to always say to me, a gentleman never does a wee in the shower. And I was like, what does that mean? He said, no one's there, no one knows, but you know. And that is the main reason that you're not a gentleman with stuff like that. And it just goes to show, when you're talking about this home builder, and they're probably putting their focus on the client that they're building for, and they think no one is watching on the property that they're building, but everyone is watching. So they're trying to do the right thing, finish the 100, 200 homes that they're building for clients or whatever it is. But you really got to keep your backyard clean, because people are watching.
Well said. Like, we had it with a client building an office fit out for themselves across the road, and they do fit outs, and their fit out took 12 months because they were focusing on clients, and they were like, I'd rather focus on paying jobs than us. And I totally get that. But the whole thing is, perception is the art of war. That person driving past is not going to call you for an excuse saying, so why did it take you so long? They're just going to come up with a conclusion. So be mindful of that, especially when you have your brand on it. You're so almost rather not wrap it with your brand and let it be built, sort of thing. But you always be careful. So
the nuggets from today are?
Someone is always watching. Reinvest in yourself. Put a little bit of money away for that reinvestment, that self-improvement each year. What else, Mark?
Do it, guys. You've got to do it. The reinvesting in yourself is absolutely critical. You may feel guilty doing that even. You may feel guilty buying that suit, or you may feel guilty buying those shoes, or you may feel guilty, doing that fit out on your business. But
taking that weekend off for yourself, you just got to do it.
Well, yeah, good point. Taking that weekend off for yourself, or taking that holiday. I know every holiday I feel guilty when I take, but at the end of the day, you don't feel guilty. That investment needs to happen, particularly, if in businesses, it's different if you're the level of hours you're putting into the business. You should be, if you're doubling the hours in your business, if you're doing 100 hours a week in your business, well, then you don't take 44 weeks a year holiday, because that's what someone taking 40 hours a week takes. So you've got to reinvest back in yourself, take a little bit more. And guys, it is so much worth it. And that is a secret, that if you see these people that are growing their lives, whether it's their business, investment, relationships, whatever it is, they're taking a little bit along the way and putting it back into the petrol tank, and it keeps growing. It's a huge lesson, guys. Do it.
Perfect. And that's the Take Super Saturday. You're going to have breakfast with Novak shortly, Mark, and good luck to everyone out there.
Boom. Have a great day, everyone. It's been a bit. If you're not in Sydney, we're a bit overcast. We're not raining yet, and it's I think we're 17 degrees, but you can feel summer coming though. Still,
definitely.
Warming up.
Let's rip. Hey Michelle, how are you? Awesome.
See you guys.